G'day everybody. This is the Flight of the Nix podcast with me, Holly, and with Denise. We are recording this about 10 minutes after the final whistle of the Ferns game in order to discuss the Ferns game. So there were a few of us that watched it from the Flight of the Nix team, but it's just you and I, Denise, to break it down. So there are two games against Chile. The second one is behind closed doors. So we decided to run our review podcast directly after this game. I'm assuming we'll find out what the actual final score is for the other game. But either way, this is the only one that we could access. 3-0 loss. Let's start with the talking point, which was the red card. Now, no one, because it's moved to FIFA, a rewind function like Sky would have. So nobody's been able to go back to see. I only saw one replay and it was a wide angle. So to me, what I think has happened is Wilkie felt like she had been fouled, dragged back. She turned and swung her arm around in frustration and made contact with the assistant ref. Now, I don't think it was intentional to touch the ref or to get close to touching the ref, but you can't do that. That's a red card. You can't do that.
Yeah, she's got to keep her cool. I mean, soccer's a game of a lot of different things, and keeping your cool at those kind of moments. It's hard. You're frustrated. I actually like in general that, she was kind of emotional, but you can't do that near a ref. I mean, do that on your own, like freak out as you're going back, going, oh, I'm so frustrated. And then we have seen that from her. It's just, you just can't do that next to a ref.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it was intentional. To me, it didn't look like she grabbed her, because that would be intentional. Grabbing the ref is very intentional. And hopefully when the replay goes on to the FIFA Plus, I'm assuming there'll be a replay, we might be able to watch that again. But, you can't risk assuming that the ref has walked further away from you than you might have thought she had at that point. Because if she had been a couple of feet further down, it wouldn't have been a red card. But it was no argument. She didn't even argue. She just copped it and walked off and was like shaking her head, I think, at herself, by the looks of it, rather than about the decision to send her off. But I feel like we actually, and I don't think that was Wilkie's fault, but we actually played better without her. I think maybe it gave us a bit of a kick. Again, I don't think it's because we are, Wilkie's off the field, we can play better now. I think it was just a bit of a impetus to go like, oh, you know what, we might need to make a bit more effort. How would you, in one word, describe our performance today?
Ooh, in one word, flat.
Flat?
Yeah.
You're very kind.
How about you, Holly?
Fucking shocking is 2 words. So we'll say a phrase. We had that really long camp prior to the World Cup, and that made a huge difference. And we played we put passes together, and we really tried to play as well as we could. And that camp, I think, had made a difference. But it's like all of that time, despite the fact that, the World Cup was not that long ago, it's like it had all been just disappeared. It just disappeared. And we were back to our old selves of just misplaced passes and not getting back to defend. And it was deeply frustrating. And 2 of those goals were because our backs didn't challenge for the ball that came off the crossbar. The third goal was absolutely shocking. There were 3 defenders just standing there watching that Chilean player just run across into the box and just basically tap it in.
Yeah, that was just so deflating that, so I was wearing my Ashlyn Harris t-shirt. Now you might not know who she is, but she was a backup goalie for the US and she rarely played. But she would get pissed, right? Like she would get mad at her teammates. Now, I love that the football ferns don't generally get mad at each other, but I do think there's one person on the field that has every right to like freak out at their line, and that's the keeper. And I really like Essen was not like top of her game, whatever. She's going up against, Endler, who is like, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in the world by far. But everyone's tired, no one's quite as into it when they're down, whatever. But their job is to cover their goalkeeper. It is to protect their goal. And if I were Victoria Essen, I'd be furious. I would be like, what are you doing? This is my box, right? And your job is to, until the play is done, protect this. Work with me, protect this. You need to do your job. And listen, I mean, we adore these athletes. They're phenomenal athletes. But that's job number one. You can't just like look up and go, oh, that one's gonna go over the crossbar. These things bend. These things drop. These people are talented. They do those things on purpose. And yeah, that was infuriating to me, that our box was not like the place you go all in all around. I have a lot of other issues. I mean, I think we could have like given Goad a lot more, like you look at there is some power in going wide and making longer passes, but the quicker play, like, here's the ball, give it back to me, I'll give it back to you, I'm gonna, have it off my foot and give it somewhere else. I'd like to see more of that with the Ferns.
I mean, the problem is that we had so many wayward passes, and especially sort of in our own half. I don't know how many times we turned the ball over in our own half, but it was not good. It was a lot of misplaced passes, and it was from the players who are really experienced. Like, I kind of understand players who are a bit newer making those kinds of mistakes, but when you've got the backline, the starting backline was extremely experienced. You'd bought Riley and you had Stoddy and Bowen in the middle, and that's some of our best players. In fact, I'd probably argue they might be our best players in the team, or at least like at the club level. And I think one of the things that most of the Chilean team, they play for Colo Colo. They play for one club. So, and I think maybe in Chile, their season runs throughout the Southern Hemisphere winter. I might be wrong. But anyway, they all play for one team. And I think that, not all, but many of them play for one team. And that shows getting to play together. And that's always been a Ferns problem, not spending enough time playing together. It's long been our problem. But, the World Cup was not that long ago. How are we starting the same players and then just having this happen? It's just, before the World Cup, I would have felt like that was the kind of performance I didn't expect, but wasn't super surprising. But post World Cup, like, it just should. I don't even know.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good on so many levels. And when your best players don't come through for you, you feel it. Like, Stoddy, she was held off for I think it was the second goal, and it was a brilliant dink over. It was a brilliant lead up with triangles coming down the pitch, and then a little dink over Stoddy, and there was nothing she could do about it. But you felt like, oh, come on, this is where New Zealand should be really good, like defending those kinds of sort of slightly over the top of our defenders. Like we generally know what foot to use on that kind of thing and how to get in there. And just to see, like, no, they cordoned her off, and scored a goal. Yeah, I think there was some energy, you're right, after Wilkie left. And there was some quality. I mean, I think Satchel had a very good cross at the 42nd minute, and that's how you beat Endler. It's actually, you're not going to beat Endler with like a kick at her. She'll be like, "Hi, I'll spin it on my finger first before I catch it," and but you put in a cross and you direct it the other way, and that was really close. I can't remember who was on the end of that ball, but it was what's that?
I don't know whether it was Riley or Rennie.
I
I'm
feel like
not
it was
sure. I know
Rennie.
what you mean.
I think it was
That
Rennie.
I mean, we didn't have a lot of chances, which is again a little bit par for the course for the Ferns. Unfortunately, I felt like when that newer generation was put on, we played better. Jale made an impact. Clegg came on and had a bit more energy, and I don't know why we aren't starting some of these players.
Well, now's the time to just figure it out for the Olympics. I mean, I think we have a pretty direct shot into the Olympics. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it was the right decision to put on some new faces right at the second half because things weren't going well. Like, okay, time to like put in Clegg and put in some other people. Yeah, Yika has work to do on this.
I just feel like we're having the same conversation that we had in those pre-tournament friendlies, in those World Cup friendlies, like before that, like against Korea, which we did play better against. But I'm kind of tired of having the same conversation. That's what I feel like I'm having. Apart from the World Cup, I feel like I'm back to having the same conversation, and it's so frustrating.
So was Chile way better than us?
They deserved to win. They were the better team.
Absolutely.
That second goal, to be fair, that was an excellent goal, and the defender, so the attacker, did a wonderful job. I think she would have fended off a lot of world-class defenders.
Yep.
With that play, like she's tiny, but she got her body in the way. But those other two goals, Chile were better, and I'm just hoping that we put up a better performance against them in the next match.
Yeah, you're right. It's better to be outplayed like the second goal than it is to be out hustled. And New Zealand's not a team that generally gets out hustled. They can be outplayed, but to see them out hustled is a little bit like, really?
I mean, some of it comes down to the fact that, as we noticed in the World Cup, those rankings don't matter anymore. These smaller teams, you can lose to anyone, really. Like even I mean, Portugal nearly beat the US in the World Cup. So it's really quite open now. But I still think that our performance was disappointing, especially misplacing so many passes in our own half.
Yeah. And I think we can leave it there. I mean, there's really not a lot more to say. I really am kind of, as a fan, kind of pissed that the second match is closed door.
That was at Chile's request, actually. So I don't know. I don't know why that is, because the thing is, like, I mean, closed door can mean no fans, and I understand that, like, ticketing and there's a cost to having fans come in and a hassle, but the fact that it's not even being broadcast is disappointing.
Yeah, that really annoys me. And I don't think it's necessary. I mean, they had a very good vibe at that match. I mean, hats off to, Chilean fans. They're showing up. There might not be 90,000, but they sounded big, right? And
they make the noise for it. The South American teams, they make the noise of, 3 or 4 times the amount of people that you'd think were in the stadium. So
yeah, have some fun. I mean, I'm glad they're having fun. But there's in this day and age, there's really I don't see a reason to have New Zealand to agree to closed door match. It's just New Zealand is trying to have a greater wave of support and yeah, closed doors matches. I mean, they're strategic for certain reasons, but I can't see a single reason why that's a good thing for New Zealand. Anyway, Grump Fest. That's all right. I like it, like Grump Fest with Holly, because you.
I mean, to be honest, our messenger chat was entirely a grump fest by everybody who was watching the game. Any final words before we sign off?
No.
No.
I mean, not at all. I'm looking forward to the Nix kit reveal, to be honest.
The away kit, I'm going to tell you, is fucking sick. So you'll be buying one of those.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you will absolutely be buying
How do
one
you
of those.
how do you get to know these things?
You're being on the fan representative group.
Oh, yeah.
Some privileges, and also there's a sort of, if you know the right people, you might find things out that you can't really share, but it from what I understand, it is amazing, and I will be buying it.
Good, because I thought the last year's kit, I liked. There was, a bit of like New Zealand Maori sort of design, but it was so subtle that I couldn't see it. And I mean, I don't know what we have in store, but I mean, it's such an evocative name. It's a cool name. We're a cool country. We got a lot of stuff going on as far as design goes that you can work from. And
I think it's just the subtleness in the black, which I think is nice. But yeah, on the field you don't quite see it. You have to sort of see see it up close. But anyway, I believe the 1st of October is the Members Day, where they're going to show off the kit, and they're going to have a Q&A with Chiefy and Temps. So obviously I can't get to that because it's a bit far away. I'm not going to fly over for that, but I'm sure that'll be good. So if you are a member and you are in Wellington, that would be a good thing to go to. But yeah, otherwise, let's just bring on the next season.
Yeah. Bring on the and it was great to see Michaela Foster on the pitch. I liked all these A-leaguers that were getting on there. I mean, I'm like, I want Jolly back, I want Clegg back, I want Satchel back, I want Hassett back. They're all like, wee. But looking forward to seeing how the Nix team comes together, and looking forward to interviewing some of these athletes. Oh, you're on mute.
You think I'd know. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And we have some pretty cool interviews lined up. So do jump on to those. We had a recent interview with one of our new defenders, Bex. Yeah, and more to come. So we'll see you around. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye.